HABITUDES by Tim Elmore. Chapter 11, Discipline Bridge. Leaders don't build character without crossing the bridge of discipline. Personal discipline is like a bridge that crosses from where you are to where you want to be. It gets you where you want to go. As a boy growing up in Cincinnati, Ohio, my craziest moment happened when a fierce tornado ripped through our little suburban neighborhood. My mom and dad demanded we rush down to the basement, where I immediately discovered how to pray patiently. The wind howled and the rain poured down. We watched debris fly across our backyard from our small basement windows. Bicycles, patio grills, lawn chairs. I even remember seeing a boat take flight. The rain was so heavy it caused flooding in the streets everywhere. It was the worst natural disaster that little town had ever seen in decades. Over the next week, rescue workers were everywhere attempting to restore what had demolished. One particular scene sticks in my memory. It was a building that had caved in and desperately needed repair. However, the rain had flooded the property, making it impossible for workers to get to it on foot. Interestingly, they built a bridge to the damaged building in order to repair it. I remember seeing scores of little bridges in these disaster areas. The bridges enabled the workers to get from where they were to where they wanted to go and fix the damage. What a fixing analogy for leaders. Many times, our own character has caved in. It could be due to a disaster, our own personal tornado. Symptoms of the damage may be subtle. Maybe we lost a friendship. It may be financial debt, failing grades, or some weight we need to take off. It might even be anxiety or emotional depression. Inside, we feel like we're crumbling, caving in. We need help. Here's what I have noticed in my life. Discipline is like those bridges that help me get to where I need to go. In order to repair the damage, I need to build a bridge of discipline to get me there. In fact, anytime I need to get somewhere difficult, discipline is usually the bridge I must cross to get there. Here's what I know about the discipline bridge. It takes time and effort to build it. But once this bridge is in place, it actually makes the journey easier. I can get back and forth with ease. Think about the time you first learned to drive a car. In the beginning, you had to think about everything you did. You were conscious of steering, shifting gears, signaling, braking, and accelerating. It might have even felt overwhelming if you had to learn to drive a stick shift. So many things to remember. However, over time, discipline took over. All those behaviors moved from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. After a while, people don't even think about what they do when they drive a car. Practice and discipline were the bridges that made the journey easy. It's the same way with sports. Accomplished athletes have built habits into their lives over the years. It is second nature. Serena Williams finds it harder to make a poor shot in tennis than a good one because she's trained herself so well for so long. She has practiced that forehand so much that it's part of her subconscious. She has to consciously try to make a bad shot. We will not look like Serena Williams our second time out on the tennis court. Discipline is the bridge that will get us there, and it takes a little while to build. At first, being disciplined seems hard, like you are adding one more item on your daily list of chores, but that's not true. Over time, discipline is a bridge, not a burden. It makes the journey easier if you'll hang with it. It makes a part of you. Growing up, my hero was Pete Ross. I followed every game he played and believed he would one day be the all time hit king. In his autobiography called My Prison Without Bars, Rose confessed to gambling, betting on games his own team played. It is the parable sin in baseball. In the book, he admitted he was aware of his privileges, but not his responsibility. That's the issue, feeling we are above the rules in certain categories of our life. Rose writes, I was afraid of my records and my place in baseball history, but I was never afraid of boundaries or able to control that part of my life. Admitting that I was out of control has been next to impossible for me. He asked, how could I be so disciplined on one part of my life and so reckless in another? The key is to develop a disciplined life. To simply have disciplined compartments in your life won't help you in the end. It needs to be a lifestyle. Today we are interested in our image more than our integrity. Remember, the word integrity means to be whole, not divided. It is the opposite of hypocrisy. Image is about how we look or appear. It is superficial. There are millions of Americans whose discipline is only about image. Therefore, it only affects one part of their life. A few years ago, we all began hearing about the exercise program P90X. While it's a great program, the ab workout is the aesthetics, not athletics. Excuse me, but being ripped is all for show. It does not mean we are better athletes. In 2003, several athletes were paid big money for celebrity endorsements before ever accomplished anything professionally. USA Today asks the question, does Madison Avenue care about real achievement anymore? Winning just doesn't matter as much as it used to, says Jim Andrews, electoral director of IEG Sponsorship Report. There are other ways these athletes can capture the public's attention by being gorgeous or being a bad boy, and getting the public's attention is all these companies really care about. How sad that image is more important than integrity to so many. Discipline for the purpose of image is a false bridge. It won't get you where you want to go. If you use this false bridge to get you from your desires to your goals, you'll find that it will someday collapse. Why? It's not real. Real discipline impacts function, not just form, and should affect your whole life. It will get you from desire to reality. You won't just look better, you'll live better. It is a long bridge. It won't get you there overnight. Psychologists suggest it takes at least 14 days of discipline to build a good habit. But stay on it and you'll find yourself getting past the damage of personal tornadoes. You'll be able to repair what's been harmed along the way. There's an old proverb that says, he who hates discipline despises himself. An undisciplined person eventually has no self-respect. Without discipline, you'll eventually stop liking who you are. Discipline is part of every effective leader's life, even for Christians. The opposite of grace is works, but not effort. 2 Peter, first chapter, verse 5, tells us to make every effort to support your faith with diligence. The word diligence is often translated virtue and literally means excellence, something that functions well on the inside. Discipline means changing from the inside out. What does this mean to you? 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 24 through 27. Do you not know that those who run in a race all run, but only one receives the prize? Run in such a way that you may win, and everyone who competes in the games exercises self-control in all things. They then do it to receive a perishable wreath, but we are imperishable. Therefore I run in such a way as not without aim. I box in such a way as not beating the air, but I buffet my body and make it my slave, lest possibly after I have preached to others, I myself should be disqualified. Thank you.